I'm Zishan. I hope you can see the screen here. Is it visible? Okay. So I am your mentor for today's session. So in today's session, we will learn about Python list. We will discuss how to create, access, reassign, and slice list in Python. Then we'll see how to apply functions to them. Along with this, we will discuss Python list operations and certain methods. So starting to begin with, I hope you can see this PPT over here. Okay. So what exactly is a list? List is one of the most frequently used and very versatile data type used in Python. Python lists are mutable. The most common sequence data type in Python is list. So it allows us duplicate members. However, Python consists of 6 data types that are capable to store the sequence, but the most common and reliable type is the list. A list can be defined as a collection of values or items of different types. So to create a list, we need to add. So let's just see how we can create a list first. So to create a Python list of items, you need to mention the items separated by commas in square bracket, then assign it to a variable. Okay, so that I'll use Google. For that, I'll use Google Colab. Right. I hope you guys are familiar with Google Colab. If not, I'll just show you how we can access Google Colab here. So I'll just type here Google Colab here, and enter, and I'll click on the first link. So Google Colab will be a coding platform for today. So I'll click on a new notebook, and I'll then click on connect. So I hope the screen is visible. Okay. So to create a Python list of items, you need to mention the items separated by commas in a square bracket. So let me just take a variable first, say num equals to, and in square brackets, I'll pass the elements as say 12, comma 50, comma 60, any random values here. Okay. So to print this, I'll just write here print of num, and to execute and to run this program, we just have to press enter and shift together. So you will see we are getting the output as 12, 50, 60, and 70. So as you can see, we have used the elements which are used in the list are integers. So I'll just name this list as integer. Okay, list of integers, and name it as list of integers. Okay. So Python also allows us to add a different type of data in a list. A Python list may also hold different types of values. Let's say it can hold all the data types like a float, integer, and a string. So let's just see how we can write a list with mixed data types. I'll take an integer first, and then in double quotes, as I'm using a string, we should always use double quotes or single quotes. I'll write here, say shop, comma, I'll take a float value here, say 4.5, and another integer, say 90. And when I print this list with shift enter, as you can see, we are getting the output. So this is how we create a list. So this list contains all types of data type. As you can see, the first element is an integer, the second element is a string, and the third element is a float, and fourth element is also a integer. So I'll just name this list as list of mixed data types. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear. This is how we create a list. So moving on to our next point, that is how we can access a list. So there are various ways in which we can access a Python list. To access a Python list, we just need to mention its name. And if we want to access a particular element of a list, we should use the index in square brackets after the list name. So I'll just show you a slide with the example here. As you can see, I have taken a list and I have named it as APH, and the elements I have taken is in the list is PROBE, Pro. So now, as you can see here, the first element of the list is assigned to the index 0, and the next the next element is assigned to a index 1, and so on. So let's see how practically we can do that on a Google Colab here. Okay, so let me just take a new list. Say I'll take a list as a COL, and I'll pass the elements as a colors. Say green, comma, purple, comma, blue, and red. Okay. So let's just say I want to print the element which is at index 2. So at index 2, we have the element blue, right? So we'll get the output as blue. All right. So let me just take one more example here. Uh, I'll just I'll just copy this here, and if just say if I want to print the element which is at index 3, so at index 3 we have the element as red, so we'll get the output as red. So I hope you guys are clear with this. Let me just take the same example which I've taken in the PPT, or we can just slides. APH of P, comma, R, O, B, E. Okay, so I've taken a list as APH, and I've given the elements as PROBE, probe. Okay, so I want to print the element, or you can say I want to access the element which is at index 2. So at index 2, we have here as O. So O will be printed here, right? I hope you guys are clear with this, how to access a Python list using the index value. So unlike other languages, Python provides the flexibility to use the negative indexing also. So let me just show you the slides here. As you can see, Python allows negative indexing for its sequences. The index of -1 refers to the last item, and -2 to the second last item, and so on. Here, as you can see here, the the list has 5 elements in it. So the length of a list is 5. The last element of the list is assigned to the index -1, and its adjacent element is assigned to the index -2. So the negative indices are considered from the right to left. So let's have a look at some examples where we will use negative indexing to access the elements of the list. Okay, so we just go back to a Google Colab here. We'll take the same list which I have taken above. Say I'll take here color. I'll paste it here, and now I want to access the last element of the list. So to access the last element of the list using negative indexing, I just have to pass in square brackets. I just have to pass the index here. So at -1 we have red, So we'll get the output as red. So let's just say I want to access the element which is at index -3. Okay. I, I want to print the element which is at index -3. So at -3 we have purple and we got the output as purple. So I hope it's clear to you guys. So far we have seen how we can access a single element at a time, right? So what if I want to access multiple items at a time? Say I don't want to access uh, only green at a time or only purple at a time. I want to access purple and blue together, and I don't want to print green and red. So how can I do that? So we can do that using a special operator called as slicing operator. Okay. So how exactly we'll see how exactly slicing operator works. Right, so let me just comment here, right here slicing, and let me just take a new list, say A, B, C equals to, I'll take strings here, say shop, comma, ship, comma, C, and position. Right. I have taken a list, I have named it as A, B, C, and in the list I have given the elements as shop, ship, C, ocean. As you can see here, to use a slice operator, uh, we need to mention the list name. So the list name here is ABC, and in square brackets, I need to give a range from which I want to print the elements. Uh, Say I just told you I want to print the L ship and C, and I don't want to print stop and ocean, right? So I give the index of ship, that is 1, and a colon, and say I just give here 3. So in this case, it will print the values or the elements from the index 1 to 2. Here it will exclude the index 3. It simply acts as 3 minus 1, 2. As you can see, we are getting the output as ship and C. Right. Let me just take one more example here. So it will be pretty much clear. Say I'll take a list, say TC. I'll give the elements as 12, 56, 70, 80, and 90. Okay. So I have taken 5 elements here now. So just say I want to access the elements which are in between the index 1 to 4. Okay. So what are the elements which are in between 1 and 4 will get printed. So at index 1 we have 56. So we get 56, 70 and 80, and we won't get 90. So here the element which is at index 4 will be excluded. Okay. So when I print this, as you can see, we are getting 56, 70, and 80. And the fourth element is ignored. We can say it acts as 4 minus 1, 3. 1 is to 3. 1 colon 3. Okay. So I hope you guys clear. I have uh, completed this point also, how we can access the element. So moving on to our next point, that is how to change or add elements to a list. Okay, since lists are mutable in the sense we can change the values of a list even after it is created, we can say we can modify the list. So we can use the assignment operator equals to change an item or a range of items. Okay, so let me just open Google Colab here. Okay, so I'll comment here saying reassign reassigning values. Okay, so I'll take a new list. Say, I'll take a RC equals to, and in RC, I'll take colors again. Okay. To avoid confusion, I'll take colors here. Say green, comma, blue, red, and say white. Okay. So I want to replace blue with black. So we can do that by using by just mentioning the list name followed by square brackets, and in between the square brackets I just need to pass the position at which blue is. So blue is at index 1, so I'll write here 1, and I'll use a assignment operator that is equal to, and in double quotes, as we are using a string, I'll pass the element which I want to print in place of blue. So I want to print there black. I'll just type here black. And when we print RC, when we print RC here, we should get black in place of blue. Yes. There we go. We are getting the desired output here. So as you can see, we got black in place of blue. So this is how we can reassign the values to a list. I'll take one more example here. Say I'll take A equals to 30, comma 90. Let me just take a string here. Say shop, comma C, and a float value that is 4.5. Okay, I have taken a list here. So just say I want to change the element which is at index 3. So at index 3, we have C, right? So I want to change the value, the element which is at 3. In place of C, I want just say I want to add there, say ocean. Okay, I want to add ocean, so I am using a double quotes there. So as we are giving it in a string, so we'll get the output when I print this. Say I print A. In place of C, we got ocean, right? So this is how we can change the value of a list using the assignment operator equals to. So, so far we have seen how we can replace the values, right? So now we'll see how we can add an element, an extra element to a list. Okay. Uh, to add an element to a list, there are a few methods. So what are the methods? We'll just see in the slides. The methods say there are built-in methods: append, clear, extend, remove, pop, insert, reverse, index, and copy. So we'll see one by one how the methods work and how we can use them in a program, right? So to add an element in a list, we'll use the first method that is called append. So how exactly append works? So let me just take a new list. Say I'll call it uh, RC equals to, say 12, 56, and a float value 8.7, and I'll take a string here, say red. Okay. So now I just want to add an element to the list. Okay. So I just want to add an element. Right. I want to add, say, if I want to add what? I want to add blue to list. Okay. So for that, I just to mention the list by the name RC and followed by a dot operator and the method name which is append. And in the parenthesis, I'll pass the argument. Argument in the sense I'll pass the element which I want to add in a list. Say I want to add blue. I'll just write here blue, and when I print RC, RC, you can see blue is added to a list. So append method just adds the element at the end of a list. Okay. It adds a single method at the end of the list. So let me just take one more example. Say a equals to 10, comma 30, 40 and 77. Okay. So now I want to add 80. So 80. So I'll just mention the list name followed by a dot operator and the method name, that is append, and I'll just pass here 80. So when I print the list, I'll get 80 in the output. As you can see, 80 is added at the end of the list. Okay, so we have seen how we can add a element at the end of the list. Now we'll see how we can add multiple items at the end of the list. So using append, we can just add a single element at the end of the list. So we can't add multiple items at the end of the list. Okay, using append. So for that, we have a new method called as extend method. So let's see how extend method works. Using extend, we can add multiple elements of the iterables to the end of the list. So we should get a combination of two lists. Okay, so let me just take a list. Say L1 equals to say 12, comma 54, 60, and 88. And I'll take one more list. Say L2 equals to 50, comma C, comma 40. Okay, so I want to add list 2 in list 1. I want to append list 1 with list 2. So I should get the output in list 1 as a combination of the two lists. So for that, I'll just have to mention the list name, that is L1 dot operator, and the method name, that is extend. And in the parenthesis, I have to pass the iterable, that is L2. So here, when I print L1, we'll get the combination of two lists. As you can see, we have appended the list 2 in list 1 at the end, right? These three elements are added at the end of the list. I hope it's clear. Okay, so moving on to our next method, that is insert, right? So till now we saw how we can add the element at the last. So what if I want to add the element, say, in between the list, or say at the first? So for that, we can't use extend or append. We have a special method called insert. So we'll see how insert method works. So we'll take a list, say L1 equals to 30, comma 90, 70, 44, and let me take a string here, say market. Okay, so just say I want to insert a new element, that is, say, I'll just comment here, I want to add say 15 to a list. Okay, I want to add 15 to a list at, okay, so I want to 15 uh, in place of 30, say before 30, we can say we want to add 15 before 30. So to do that, we just need to mention the list name, that is L1 followed by dot operator and method name, that is insert, right? So in the parenthesis, I need to pass two parameters. First parameter will be the position or index at which we want to add the object or element, and after that we need to pass the element which we want to print. Okay, so we want to print 15 before 30, so I'll give the index as 0 comma, and I'll just type here 15. I want 15 to be printed before 30. So when I print L1, you can see we got 15 before 30. So this is how we can add a specific element at a specific position, whichever position we want. So I hope I made myself very much clear till here. So those are using laptops and PCs, they can follow me. They can follow the steps and just let me know if you guys followed. Okay, so moving on further, till now we saw how we can add or insert elements in a list. So now we'll see how we can remove the elements from the list. So for that, we have a method called pop. Okay, so this method is used to remove the element from the list, a particular element. We can remove only a single element using a pop method. So let's see how pop method works. So I'll take a list here, say a equals to a equals to 20, comma 30, comma 44, and say red. Okay. So in this list, say if I want to remove the element which is at index 2. So at index 2, we have 44, right? To remove 44, we just need to mention the list name and dot the method name, which is pop, and in between the parentheses, I'll pass the uh, position of the element which I want to remove. So I want to remove 44, right? So I'll pass here 2, and when I print A, you can see 44 is removed from the list, right? So this is how pop method is used. Uh, we can only remove a single element using a pop method. So what if I want to remove, say, multiple elements, or say I want to remove the entire list? How can I do that? So in order to do that, we have a different method called clear. Okay, we have a clear method which clears the entire list and gives us a empty list. So I'll take a list here, say L1 equal to 98, 89, comma 98, and uh, let me just string here, say green, and I'll take a float here, say 4.5. Okay, so to use a clear method, all I need to do is to mention the list name followed by a dot operator and the method name, which is clear, and I won't give any arguments in the parentheses. As you can see, if we give no arguments in the list, it removes all the items from the list. So when I print this list, say L1, okay, we are getting an empty list. So the list is completely removed. We can say erased. Okay, this is how we use a clear method to erase the entire list. Okay, so uh, that okay, I'll wait 2 minutes so that everyone completes, and then I'll proceed further. Okay, so moving on further to our next methods, which is reverse method. So by the name, it's clear it reverses the list. Reverse. Okay, so let's see how reverse method works. So I'll take a list, call it as A, and I'll pass the element, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so as you can see, I've taken a list, I've assigned it to A. Okay, and I have taken 6 elements in a list. So in order to use a reverse method, I just need to mention the list name followed by a dot operator and the method name, that is reverse. Reverse, and in between the parentheses, I need to mention anything. Okay, so when I print A, you can see we are getting a list in reversed order, right? You can see here we are getting a list in reverse order using a reverse method. So there's nothing much to explain, it's pretty simple. I'll move on to the next method, that is copy. So it simply copies the list, and let's see how it works. So I'll just take a list, say L1 equal to empty list. I'll just create an empty list, and then I'll take a L2 second list, and I'll pass the element, random element, say 12, 40, 50, 60, and 80. Okay. So now I want to copy the elements which are in list 2 in list 1. So how can I do that? So we can do that using a copy method. So to use a copy method, I just need to mention the list name in which I want to copy. I want to copy the elements which are in list 2, right? So I'm writing here L1 equals to the assigning 2 dot the method name, which is copy, and in between the parentheses, I leave it as it is. No arguments in the parentheses. And when I print here list 1, okay, so I should get the elements which are present in list 2. As you can see, we are getting the elements which are present in list 2. They are copied in list 1. So this is how we can use a copy method to copy the list. So I hope you guys followed. So let me just take another method here, last method, which is count. Okay, so what count does? So count is a list method which is useful for counting the number of occurrence of an item or an object in a list. So let's say I'll take a list A equals to 1, comma 2, 3, uh, 3, and 4. Okay. So now, if I want to use a count method, I just need to call the list name followed by a dot operator and the method name, that is count. And in between the parentheses, I'll give the value of the element which I want to know the occurrence. Say I want to know how many times as one is repeated in the list. So when I print this, you can see we are getting one as an output as one has occurred once. So say when I give here count as count as 3, so it will, so here that has two occurrences, right? That is how we count the occurrence in list. 3 has occurred twice, so we are getting the output as 2. So it's pretty simple how count method works. So this is how we use, these are the some methods which we use in uh, Python list. So move on to next point, that is built-in list functions. So built in list functions. So our first function is len. So let's see how we can use this built-in functions. Right. I'll just comment here. Say built-in functions. Okay. So our first built-in function is len. Okay. So how exactly len works? So it simply used to calculate the length of the list. It will just calculate the length of the list and give the output as, let me just take an example first. Say ABC equals to 1, comma 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So to use the len function, I just need to mention the function name len, and in between the parentheses, I'll just need to give the object which I want to calculate the length. Say I want to calculate the length of ABC. When I run this, you can see we are getting the output as 6. It has just calculated the length of the list ABC and give us the output as 6. So let me just take one more example. A equal to, say, I'll take string here. Okay, C, comma, blue, red, and I'll take an integer here. So when I use the len function, I'll pass the object here, and when I print this, you can see we are getting the output as 4. It is used to calculate length of the list. As you can see, we have the just 4 elements in the list. We have got the output as 4. So moving on to a built-in function, which is max. Okay, so what max does? Max, it returns the maximum element of the list. So, okay, the element which is having the maximum value in the list, it just simply prints. Okay, I'll take list, say L1 equals to, say 30, uh, 33, and 50, 60, and say 20. Okay, so to use the max function, I just need to mention the function name, that is max, and in between the parentheses, I need to mention the iterable which I want to get result. Okay, so when I print this, you can see we are getting 60 as an output. It has simply calculated the list and given us the highest value of the element which is present in the list. So in this case, we have 60 here, which is the highest value in the list, right? So we have got the output as list. So what if we don't use integer? If we, what if use a string here? See, I'll take a2 and I won't use your integers. I'll use a string. Say, I'll use, say, uh, can, comma c, comma ship. Let me just take a different. Say, I'll take bin, comma a. Okay, so I have taken a list. Say, I'll take it as 8. Okay, so what if I use a max function here? What output will I get here? Let's just see. We have got the output as C, which is the highest value element present in the list. So as you can see here, we have given the random values. So the ASCII value of A is lesser than B, and the ASCII value of B is less than C, and the ASCII value of C is less than S. So the S alphabet has the greater ASCII value compared to the other elements which are present in the list. So we are getting C as the maximum value, right? So when we give a string and we pass the the function as max, it compares the ASCII values, not the integer values. Okay, so I hope I've cleared my point. So moving on to the next method, which is min. It simply it simply returns the minimum element of the list. As we have seen in the max, has returned the maximum element of the list. So minimum will return the minimum element present in the list. I'll take list, say L1, and I'll pass the elements, say 12, 50, 1, 6, and 90. And when I use the min function and pass L1, so after printing this, as you can see, we are getting the minimum value. So minimum element present in the list. Okay, so one is the minimum element present in the list. So we are getting the output here. So moving on to next built-in function, which is sorted. Sorted. Okay, I'll just comment this here. Sorted. It simply returns a sorted list. So I'll take a list here. I'll just take the same list here. Say when I paste it over here. So to use the sort function, I just need to mention the function name, that is sorted, and in the parentheses I'll pass the iterable, that is L1, and it will give me a sorted list in the ascending order. As you can see, we got the list in ascending order: 1, 6, 12, 50, and 90. It's pretty much simple, right? So I'll move on to our next method, which is list itself. Okay, list. What list does? It converts a sequence to the list. It simply converts any any data type to a list. Say I'll take a string, I'll use a, and I'll give your string, say banana. So when I print a, I'll get here the output saying it's a banana. Okay, so how can I know the type of this list? Sorry, so how can I get the type of a? So I'll just type here type. I want to know the type of a, right? So I'll just write here type a. When I run this, as you can see, the type of a is string. I have taken the string here as banana. So when I print type of a, I've got it as a string. So I'll convert this string into a list using the list function. So for that, I just need to mention the list function, and in between the parentheses, I just need to pass the iterable, or you can say argument a. And when I print this, you can see we got the string in the form of a list in the square brackets and in single quotes. I hope you guys clear. You can see we got a list. We simply converted a string into a list. Okay, so with that, I hope I made myself very much clear. Are you understanding this? Please let me know in the comment section if you have any doubts. Okay. Uh, so let's move on to the last point of today's session, that is iterating a list. Okay. I'll just zoom this. Okay. Iterating a list. A list can be iterated by using a for in loop. A simple list containing four strings which can be iterated is as follow. In the example you can see here, I have taken a list L1 and I have assigned a list L1 and I have taken the elements as cup, plate, shop, skate and market. Okay, so let me just go back to a Google Colab and see how practically we can do that. Say I'll take a simple string. Okay, I'll take a string again. Say banana. Okay, so when I print this, I'm getting banana, right? So I'll take banana in a list. Say A equals to double quotes banana. Okay, so when I print, okay, so when I print this, I'll get a list of banana. Okay, so let me just add one more element here. Sorry, I'll add here apple and mango. So when I print list A, we are getting the elements in one orders, in one line, banana, apple, mango. So what if I want to print the elements one by one and one at a time? Say I want in first line I want banana and in the next line I want apple and the last line I want to print mango. So how can we do that? So we can do that using a for used. Okay. So I'll take the same list here. As you can see, I've taken the same list here and I want to print one by one. Okay, so I want to print the elements one after the other. So for that, I'll just use a for and I have to use a variable. Say I'll use a variable I. So I will refer first. I will refer to banana. It will hold the value of banana and it will print us banana. And then it will refer to apple. It will then print apple and then it will refer to mango and then in the next line it will print mango. Okay, so after the variable I'll write in a and a colon and I'll just simply print I. Okay, with the for loop we can execute a set of statements once for each item in a list. Every strings are iterable objects. They contain a sequence of character. A for loop is used for iterating over a sequence. So when I run this code, you can see we are getting one element after the other, one after the other, right? So here I'll just comment here, uh, the variable, the variable will iterate over the elements of the list and contains each element in each iteration. The variable will iterate over the elements of the list and let me just write comment one more here contains in each iteration. Okay, the variable I'll just write here I so that we are using I as a variable here. So the variable I will iterate over the elements of the list and contains each element in each iteration. As you can see, first I will refer to banana and it will print banana in the first line, and then I will refer to the second element which is apple and it will print apple in the next line, and then I will refer to the next element which is mango and it will print mango in the next line, right? I hope I've made myself very much clear to you guys. So that was it for today's session. Uh, yeah. So let's just see what we have completed today. So let's make a quick revision. So we saw how we can create a list, how we can change elements of a list, how we can reassign the elements to a list, and we saw how we can access a particular elements of a list. Then we saw some built-in methods in a list, that is append, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort, copy, count, and then we saw how we use some built-in functions in list, that is len, max, min, sorted, list, and what we saw. Okay, we saw len, max, min, and list. Then at the last, we saw how to iterate a list using a for loop. So with that, I would like to handle it over to Mr. Amir. Thanks for tuning in, guys.